Okay, everybody, we're going to start at the end. Let's just jump straight to the quiz and ask you 2 questions. First one, have you ever had a deadly boring professor? So think like I'd rather be sleeping, maybe not permanently in a cemetery, but just torturous, monotone lecture, absolutely putting you to sleep. Maybe it was back when you were an undergrad. Maybe it was last week at an academic conference. Anyway, kind of picture that in your mind. Now let me ask you the serious question. Is that professor you? Okay, sorry, it's a little bit harsh. Let me just jump straight ahead. I'm also asking the question, is that professor me? I'm Dr Raison. I've been hanging around with Ohio State for about 20 years, just over that now, mostly at the Department of Extension, working statewide in leadership, but also have a 20% appointment now teaching in ag communications, education, and leadership. Well, this past fall, the faculty council, I've been on that for a couple of years, and we kind of had this agenda item about using technology, in particular media site, on how we can improve our teaching, and particularly teaching with distance and maybe flipped classrooms, things like that. So I don't remember if I volunteered or if I got volunteered, but somehow or another, I also had this personal goal of improving my own teaching. And so lo and behold, I said, well, let me take a stab at putting something together. Now at that same time, I was actually using MediaSite to teach a graduate level leadership class. And I kind of had that moment of just, this is insane. I'm leading a course on leadership, and I've got these master's and PhD students who are watching me. And I thought, man, I better get it right. What can I do to improve my teaching and not make my students wish they were 6 feet under? No disrespect here. But to illustrate the point, you've probably been in that lecture. So, fast forward. What was the premise? Well, the faculty council said, hey, distance learning options are growing. We're seeing more and more of them. Flipped classrooms are providing more in-depth learning opportunities. And so MediaSite, Camtasia, CamRelay, things like that are available. Well, my premise, along with those, was that some of our online lectures are like slow poison. They're absolutely killing our students while we talk. I was at a distance learning workshop, and they said, you can use the studio and have a desk and the cameras and all this good stuff and sit there and deliver your lecture. And I was like, dear heaven, no. Do you want to? It's just not the right thing to do. So what I do, put together a couple of ideas on how you might improve your lectures. So my remedy, 2 simple points if you remember nothing else. First one, get outside. And the second one, stand up. Don't deliver your lectures sitting down at the desk. Move around, do something to make it interactive and to get your students' attention. You may see people talking about getting the fancy cameras and the umbrellas and the lighting kits and all that sort of thing. You don't need to do that. I'm recording this using the MediaSite, using the camera built into my laptop right now, and it's not bad. No, it's not this perfect quality, but you know what? It can be engaging, and depending on what you're teaching, you can be out in the field recording your lecture, making it really real and meaningful. So with that premise and background, I want to give you my top 10 ways to keep your students awake during class and enhance learning, particularly with the distance or flipped classrooms. So we're going to start with number 9, because I had like 5 or 6 for number 10. I couldn't decide, so what the heck. So number 9, if you can work it into your lecture, mention beer. It's good. I'm just, it's one of those things. So I actually used this slide in one of my lectures last semester, and what's happening, this is a brew pub down in Dayton, and it's cooperatively owned. So they've got like 3,000 members, and they have this really dynamic and complex organizational structure that takes some serious leadership. So I've been kind of working with them on strategic planning. I've been coaching them for the last 4 years at their annual meetings, helping them think through this process. So I used that as a story, and it was pretty effective. It was real life meeting leadership theory. So that worked. Number 8, vary your teaching locations. Here I am outside the Ohio Stadium. This place is iconic. I was talking about teamwork. What a better place than to jump in at the Ohio Stadium. Can't go wrong. Number 7, vary your outfits so you fit the topic. On this week, I happen to be talking about coaching and mentoring. So I put on the jersey, the hat. I'm actually in front of another athletic field. I kind of pan around, you can see the baseball diamonds and things, and talk about coaching and mentoring. What does it mean? Dress the part, have some fun with it. Number 6, go out on a limb or in a cemetery. The picture on the right, I'm actually out in a snowstorm. I should have waited another half an hour because it was really coming down and it started to blanket and turn everything white. But I had on my big, Navy pea coat and it was just fun. I don't remember the topic that week, but it was different. Definitely gets the attention, breaks up the monotony. And if you don't go out on a limb, you go up on a roof. Here I am doing a wrap-up. So I was talking about getting that leader's view, that 30,000 foot meta level sort of view, and I'm up actually on a parking garage looking over South Oval on campus. It was pretty effective, pretty neat place. Gave me that bird's eye view, and I could talk about that in my lecture. Number 4, take photos when you're on tours. We were up in Flint. I was probably doing a local foods gig, and got a lot of pictures. This is so easy, and we do it. But do we remember then to insert them into our PowerPoints or our slideshows so that we can share those examples and again bring that theory into practice? That's the key. Don't forget to do it. Number 3, provide a roadmap to help your students kind of figure out where you're going. But try to keep it simple, not like the one I encountered in Wales a number of years ago. I have no idea where that sign was pointing to. So you help your students navigate the lecture, whether it's the entire course, through the syllabus, or just that lecture. Kind of let them know what you're thinking, where you're going. Got the planes flying overhead, realistic stuff, just adds to the fun. Number 2, use YouTube and TED Talks. So these can bring a lot of different content into the situation. They can make it fun. Here's Simon Sinek, who's saying, this is kind of a double one. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so our students need to know that we care first, and then you can engage them more fully and get their attention and have them see what you're really trying to convey. So great opportunities there to incorporate that sort of thing. And the number 1 way to improve your lectures, mention beer. Did I say that already? So here was a TED Talk that I did a couple years ago. I simultaneously grabbed the attention of over 1,100 people in the audience by showing this slide with local beer. It was just fun. That's not the real number 1. The real number 1 way to improve your lectures is are to find these teaching intersections. And so you think about this: how do theory and practice come together? And you, standing right there in the middle, can share your experiences in real life. We can add our stories that will add just great value to the classroom instruction. They make it real and they bring it out and they let our students see the connections. And that is a huge opportunity for enhancing your learning, particularly if you're not there face to face, if you're doing the asynchronous or distance, or if you're flipping that classroom. So that's it. It was just quick. Wanted to throw this at you. Tune in next time. We're talking about some other ideas. If this has been helpful, then please let us know. And we're kind of working on some other topics. The nuts and bolts of using MediaSite, some opening lines, top 10 opening lines, and then asking great questions. Just a few other topics that we're throwing around. How might you engage both in the classroom and on distance? And hope it's good. Hope it's helpful. Let us know. Thanks.